Yo, what is up? What is up? Welcome, gamers. Welcome to my channel right here on Twitch. Uh, as you can see, we got a view. We got a view in the background. You know what I'm saying? Not the background, my background. I'm talking about the background right here. Is Rise of the Ronin is the game that everybody is either can't wait to play or in somewhat way hating on right now. I'm can't wait to play. And there's a reason why I can't wait to play. And it's because of the nostalgia that it's kind of bringing back inside of me. So if you haven't read the title of this stream yet, it is Rise of the Ronin Cross Way of the Samurai. Now, Rise of the Ronin is the upcoming Team Ninja PlayStation 5 exclusive, dropping on the 22nd of March. That is actually my son's birthday. So it's pretty cool. Not just that it's going to drop on my son's birthday and the fact that I'm often going to play it, but it's cool that another great game is dropping in March, because I like to explain all the time how March is awesome. And I stand by that because many great games and many great shows and movies have dropped in the month of March. And I'm gonna blame it on spring break. Like, let's be honest, we're gonna blame it on spring break. But that's besides the point. But anyways, so I'm gonna let this play in the background. I'm gonna kind of say my piece real quick, and then we'll jump in between topics of why are we even talking about Rising the Ronin and Way of the Samurai in the same sentence. You know what I'm saying? Why are we talking about both of them? So for anybody that hasn't played Way of the Samurai, it is a game that was released back in 2002. Again, this is not Way of Samurai footage. This is Rise of the Ronin. So it was dropped back in 2002. And it was a game that I personally grew up with back on the PlayStation 2 era. And I always thought it was a dope and fun game at it for its time. I'm gonna give you a little history behind it real quick in comparison. And while I do that, I'll stop this and I'm gonna kind of show the Way of the Samurai in the background. So we're just gonna go ahead and drop this real quick. We'll pause that right there. And we'll have this play in the background. So as you can see, it's pretty old. When's the last time you seen that for an intro or BAM Entertainment? You know what I'm saying? Or Choir. So pretty old game. Again, came out in 2002. And I'm gonna read real quick. I'm gonna read the little background wiki information on it. So the story of the Way of the Samurai takes place in 1878. All right. This was after the fall of the Tokugawa shogunate and the start of the Meiji period during the Satsuma Rebellion, a time when the samurai who were once at the top of the Japanese society are all but outlawed. The game begins with the player taking the role of a wandering Ronin by the name of Kenji arriving in a fictional outpost called Rokotu Pass. Sorry if I'm butchering some of these names. I'm human. Um, so just things to note just off the beginning of that plot information is the fact that this game is, I want to say, hold on, let's go here so I can get the actual year. Just over 10 years after this stage is set on Rise of the Ronin. All right. So, Way of the Samurai, 1878. Japan, 1863 for Rise of the Ronin. Rise of the Ronin is set in Japan, 1863. Way of the Samurai, Japan again, in 1878. So over a 10-year span, right? That's the only difference. Because they are still in the 19th century. Both of them. Both The Way of the Samurai, both Rise of the Ronin are in the 19th century of Japan and what it begins to go through. All right. So in Way of the Samurai, you have factions fighting over each other. I'm gonna pause this right here. You have factions fighting over each other. All right. In Rise of the Ronin, you have factions fighting over each other. And of course, you have factions of the land, you know, the homeland, the shogunate and the non-shogunate, right? In Rise of the Ronin. And in Way of the Samurai, you have two factions as well of the Japanese descent fighting over the pass. Or not the pass as in the past, but the pass, the area that the game is located in. Okay? And then in both games, you have a Western influence. Okay? Now, when Way of the Samurai initially released, they didn't give you any of the options for the non-sword weapons, meaning the guns, right? But they later made like what you would deem a special edition, so to speak, that they went ahead and added those non-sword weapons to the game. Now, what does Rise of the Ronin have? They have guns and they have swords. So both games, and then the pass as well is separated into 3 areas. All right. Now it's not as huge as this Rise of the Ronin map, but it's definitely separated just the same in 3 separate areas, right? That they're fighting over and controlling and maintaining their dominance and whatnot, whatever their agendas are. All right. In both games, you play as a wandering Ronin. Now, the game is basically decided on what decisions you make. All right. We're just going to hold it right there, right? Decisions you make. So we're going to go back to Way of the Samurai. I'm going to get to minute 6 here. Shout out to Timeless Gaming. I'm using this video right now because he has the best video. So I'm just going to shout you out, bro. Credits go out to him for this gameplay video, but he put, from what I've seen so far, he's put together the best. And I want to say those 1100 would agree. All right. So let's go here. All right. This is the beginning of the Way of the Samurai. This is where you start after you're done with your little created character. Again, something both games share. Obviously, Rise of the Ronins is more in depth than Way of the Samurais is. but you can unlock more stuff as you play the game and beat the game, right? So here we see our Ronin entering the past. Again, he's just a wandering Ronin. Doesn't know what he's about to get his life into just yet. And we'll see how it pans out real quick. So just want to point out right here, as you can see, which is something I'm hoping that Rise of the Ronin has in it, as you know, live objectives, so to speak, right? Because this is a moving objective right here. This group of this clan has taken hold of this woman for whatever reason, and she's captured by them, and they're going to do something with her. Obviously, I'm not gonna ruin it for anybody that wants to go back to the PS2 era and play the game, but they're going to do something with her. And as you can see here, you have the option of getting in their way, and either A, tell them to stop doing what they're doing, or B, join them in their task. You have that option just within this dialogue. All right. Furthermore, let's say the player didn't get in his way. You can actually watch these guys travel across that bridge and go about their day and never interact with them in this moment. So just go ahead and proceed and see what this player decides to do. Right now, it looks like he's going to join them, but who knows? Now, if you see right there, let me back that up again. So if you see right there, right, he made the choice to say, she doesn't seem to like you. You know what I'm saying? That was that third option, just to discuss further the matter instead of quickly deciding, hey, I'm going to join you, or hey, stop right there. You know what I'm saying? So you had three choices right there. That was the third he decided to pick. He just tried to continue the dialogue, so to speak, and get a little more info. And as you can see, the leader of this group, he definitely doesn't like you right now. He doesn't care for you right now. And he's letting you know you will die if you continue to provoke him. Now you can say I'm sorry and walk away from all this. You can tell him to prove himself, which is even more so provoking him, or tell him to watch his tongue. Let him know, like, hey, you don't talk to me like that. So we'll see what happens. As you can see, as he's fighting, you have created a new move. All right. So I want you to remember that. You have made a new move while he's fighting. In Rise of the Ronin, there is a bond system, all right, where you can become closer with the people you meet. All right. They have a bond system with the people you meet, and you can continue to bond with these people and basically strengthen that bond, obviously. And by strengthening that bond, you're going to unlock new stuff for various weapons. So I don't know if Rise of the Ronin is going to have that, continue to play with this weapon and unlock stuff like Way of the Samurai just displayed there. But again, showing that you can build something with this weapon, with your weapons, as you continue the game. Now I'm going to pause it right there because I'm going to point out something here. Now, Rise of the Ronin has said that they got different like styles, right? As you can see, this man has what I consider a high stance. Now, the reason why I call it a high stance is because of Way of the Samurai. So, the Way of the Samurai, when you would play, you would have to get weapons. And when you collect swords off of the dead people's bodies, basically, they would have a stance. All right. So we're going to let that continue to play. They would have a stance. And the stance would determine some of the move listing. So as you can see, boom. He has dropped his hands are dropped. He's still holding the sword, obviously, but he's in a low stance. And anybody that has the sword in the middle here is in a mid stance. And then anybody that looks in the Way of Samurai, like my man over here, with the sword up high, is in a high stance. See how he just went to middle? So again, another thing very notable in both games is the stances. They both showcase different stances or styles, however they want to word it. Both showcasing similarities. You know, we just went a little into the era. We went a little into the combat, and already a lot of similarities. As you can see here, there was a guard break there. All right. Now, if I pull this video back, if you weren't paying attention too closely, pull this video back a little bit to right there, right? Notice the dodging, right? We have the dodging, the attacking. And when he goes to fight this man, guard, break. So there's one. Look, he even tripped over the body. Tripped over the body, which I'm hoping is in this game too. I'm hoping the bodies cause obstacles for you and the people that you're fighting. Because in Way of the Samurai, you can equally trip over these bodies. All right. So right there, just in the combat system, there's a lot of similarities. You got the styles where high, mid, low, or whatever they want to call them in Rise of the Ronin. You know what I'm saying? You have the deflect system, which in Rise of the Ronin, it's that spark system, spark counter system. In here, it's called a guard break. You can hear the weapons clashing in here, just like you would in Rise of the Ronin. can see there, they have talking points, so you can talk. See how you tripped over the body as well. Fast recovery though. Um, but these are things that are similar. And Rise of Ronin hasn't showed if you can trip over a body yet. I'm really hoping that they do have that just to give me more of the nostalgia of the way of the samurai. Um, but as you can see, again, period, time period is very similar. Um, combat is kind of similar. Obviously, we're talking about a game that's over 20 years old that we're comparing Rise of Ronin. So some of the gameplay features are not as high quality, obviously, but they're there. And as you can see here, he's defeated the guy, he's intervened, and hopefully solved a problem and made a new companion. Or built a bond with somebody. And you'll see here, she talks about the restaurant and invites him over. And he can pick what he wants to do there. He can decline it or say yes, which he's gladly accepted. And that's just her way of showing her gratitude for saving him. But there is a bond now built there. So, again, Rise and Ronin, bond system, countering, sword play, guns and swords. It's the time period. Everything is there. Everything is there. For both games. Yes, obviously, Rise of the Ronin's combat system is much more expansive than Way of the Samurai. Again, two different games, over 20 years apart, 22 years apart, actually, to be exact. But both feature many similarities, and that's why I tell everybody, hey, this is why this game gives me nostalgia. All right, so let's get into the factions though, right? Let's try to get into the factions real quick. Let's see if we can I want to see if we can get something a little more faction based. Put it here real quick. Hang on. Story. There you go. This one should showcase a little more. So right here, we have the Western forces. I'm gonna leave it right there. All right. Pause that real quick. Bring this over here. Western forces. Let's see if I can scooch this a little bit back. think it's somewhere around here that I'll show it. But in this gameplay, there's that girl that he saves on the bridge. You'll see the Western forces come into play, besides the factions clashing with each other. So you see two clans there. Oh, let's back that up a little bit. So we got the little uniform there, right? And then you got my man's right here. And his troops. Right there in the background. So some similarities in their looks. Weapons of choice. Again, because it's not even that far apart. Which kind of brings me to the point that if this game is successful, or even if it's not successful, right? They just already have the idea that part 2 is coming. Is it going to lead into the way of the Samurai era? I mean, you're talking about games that they're years apart in story, are really not too crazy far apart. Is Rise of Ronin going to lead into that way of the samurai segment of story? So it's all there. It'd be cool if it does, even more so because again, it'll just hit my nostalgia even more. But as you can see, even from the world itself, the game has a lot of similarities in environment next to the way of the samurai. Even like that bridge area, which I'm hoping they'll hit somewhere around here. Let's see, they'll probably hit it around there. So they didn't have any like waterways in the game, but I'm hoping it'll show a certain area in this video. I'm pretty sure it will, because there's definitely something you'll see in Japan, like those high bamboo areas. No, they didn't have any like super city areas like they do in this one, in Way of the Samurai. This is a little extra next to Way of the Samurai, but definitely has a lot of these more environmental, grassy areas in Way of the Samurai. and water was always low, so you can kind of just run through it. Whereas here, it looks like you can actually swim, which is definitely dope. Nice little added feature. They didn't have any side quests uh, like this does. Again, 22-year time difference. You didn't have access to arrows like you do in Rise of the Ronin. Um, we did fight some guys bigger than you, and some guys more skilled. Um, but you made the story move in the direction you wanted it to move in. And I'll actually find it funny if one of the endings is just to walk away, right? And what I mean by that is when you get into Way of the Samurai in the beginning here, get right back on that spot where the passage starts. When you get right here in Way of the Samurai, you actually have a choice to go right back where you came from and just leave the way behind. And that is actually an ending, one of the endings of multiple endings to this game. Um, and I'm hoping that Rise of the Ronin will have something similar. You know what I'm saying? Start the game off and leave. Just go back where you came from and leave. Don't even let this part of the world be part of your business. You know, continue to live your life. Move on to the next area. You know, let them fiend for themselves and not intervene in the history that's going to be made in this period. So it'd be very cool if that comes to light. I'm also going to push forward so you can see the city area, or what would be the city area. So, like, again, little town area here. Again, conversations being taken place. The girl that you saved is clearly here, the restaurant. But this will also be another sign of your actions have consequences. Now, notice, I mean, clearly didn't go that far, right? Just went to the bridge, straight to her restaurant. But you still happen to be a part of problems. So another family here. These guys are clearly trying to just business and peace, but they seem to be being bullied around by another clan leader. So after he destroys this guy, you have to fight this man. And as you can see, again, he has his own style. So I'll pull that back a little bit so you can see him when he comes in. After he kills this guy, hold on. You see how the weapon is to the side right there? And the dodging, that's kind of part of his thing. His own style. But again, the weapon's to the side of the stance. All depends on what weapons you have. That gives you another stance and playing with them to unlock more move sets. And then, furthermore, right, which is something I'm assuming is going to be in Rise of the Ronin as well, considering that they have a crafting system, right? Is you can actually manage your weapons, right? So I'm gonna pull this one up real quick just to showcase this piece real quick. So right here, as you can see, there's a white bar and an orange bar. This is your health, right? But right here is your durability. Every time you upgrade your weapon, this will go up or it might go down, depending on how you upgrade it. All right, and other things come with it. So let me see if I can get a pick real quick. Such an old game. Something that looks a little more in depth. Actually, I should be able to do it like this. What was this dude's name? Got me thinking all the way back to 2002. There we go. Blacksmith. That's what it was. I know he had a big ass hammer of a weapon. Come on, somebody had to capture this man at least once. I believe this might have been the blacksmith in not part one, maybe one of the other Way of the Samurai games. But I'm trying to look for the original, man. Where my OG at? Let me see if I can put a the blacksmith. Well, yeah. So this guy in the middle right here is who he was. Now the hammer didn't look this small in his hands, at least. But he was the guy that you would go to craft weapons with, and he was the only blacksmith. And in this game, because he was the only blacksmith, you could actually kill him and take his hammer. But the downside to that was the moment that you killed him, of course, or hit him, all you had to do was hit him once. He would fight your ass. And his hammer is pretty strong. Now, remember, going back to durability in the game, you did not want him clanging your sword with his hammer. Because, like, this guy right here only has 3. That hammer would eat through the durability of the sword. And basically, to eat through your durability, you'd have to block. And I believe if you clash weapons as well, it would hurt your durability a little bit. So this hammer would literally eat through your durability. And what happens when your durability gets eaten is you start to lose those white bars. And then your weapon will break. And if your weapon breaks, you basically go from having a katana blade to having a kitchen knife. And I'm talking about the one you use to put butter on your toast. That's about as weak as it is. And you don't want to get caught with the blacksmith and no sword to fight him. Or anybody, really. You can carry multiple swords on you, but you are only allowed to have obviously one out. So I'm pretty sure this will change in Rise and Ronin, um, considering they look like they'll have multiple weapons on hand. As you can see, he has a flamethrower right there. Hold on, let's pull that back real quick. So he has a flamethrower here, and he has sword. This guy has a shield, and he has a sword. Who knows if you're gonna be able to hold shields as well. Um, but he has a shield and a sword. You got a flamethrower and a sword. So it just goes to show that you can have multiple weapons on hand, ready to go. Whereas in Way of the Samurai, you can only actually hold one, but you can holster the rest in your inventory menu. Um, and in there, you can see like your durability and all your stats um, for your swords. So I gotta find this real quick because I'm pretty sure I had a picture. Let me see if it's funny because when I wasn't looking for it, I found it. And now that I'm looking for it, nowhere to be found. Where are you at, bro? I know there was an image here that I can showcase the weapon stats. I'm gonna pull weapons inventory. That might work. Perfect. Trying to find one from the Way of the Samurai 1. I already know where everything is at on there, so I can explain it a lot better. Where we at? Where we at? Where we at? Where we at? We just gonna slide back up here because I think probably the closest. So I'm gonna have to check. If this is on Steam, I'm gonna want to play it. But this is part 4, and kind of what it looks like on theirs, which they change it. It's kind of hoping to see part 1's, even though this, nah, it is not similar. Boom, right there. Oh, of course. It had to be in a form that I cannot translate. Who the? Let's see if we can zoom this in. All right, so that looks a lot better. So this right here, your options: equip sword, place sword on the ground, and destroy. So basically, you can let it go. As you can see on that top left corner right here, it's probably a little hard to see. It says middle, and right here, I know it's blacked out. It says low. Again, high, mid, low. You got the name of the sword. You got the durability, which is 5. So to have 5 of those white bars, your attributes, the attack, the defense, and the life. Obviously, you want it in the pluses. You could get weapons that were in the negatives, which means you better have a lot of durability. And then each weapon came with its own move list. So then you can check the moves out, you can unlock moves. Um, and it was just cool. You just basically would bring the weapons that would fit your playstyle. Um, Two-handed weapons, one-handed weapons, you know, mid-low stances, the difference in the mid-low stances. Because I believe the weapon that other guy that I showed you earlier with that back, uh, he was a mid stance as well. I don't think that was a low. Um, you could actually even get steal the ninja weapons. I know you saw those guys running on the top originally, right here, if I'm not mistaken. You'll see ninjas kind of pull up. Right there. You can actually kill them and get their weapons, which is a different stance. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the blade is actually backwards when you use theirs instead of them like holding it front or just to the side. I think he has it one handed to the side, and while he runs, he holds the whole thing. So he has that whole ninja look vibe going on. Um, but yeah, so different stances, different types of blades to use in the game. Game later gets the guns and stuff, uh, factions, the ability to change the course of history based off of what you want to do in the game. All things that Way of the Samurai showcased back in 2002. So for me, this is like the expansion of what Way of the Samurai could have grown to been over time. Hopefully, Rise of Ronin will visit uh, their time period after this first game. You know, hopefully this game can continue, and we'll get a Rise of Ronin 2, and we'll be playing in the era of Way of the Samurai, and just experience that through the gameplay style and features of Rise of the Ronin. Be really cool to see. But yeah, many talking points there. First time doing a comparison stream here, so don't mind me. But yeah, just a lot, man, a lot. I can't wait to play Rise of Ronin. To all the people saying, you know, game looks bad or this, that, and the third, or trying to compare it to Dragon's Dogma, you know what I'm saying? Let the people enjoy what they want to enjoy. I know everybody has a right to their opinion, but game's not even out yet. Don't crush it. Don't knock it till you try it. And I, for one, believe that the game is going to be very successful. I think it'll definitely be worth a buy. I think it'll be definitely worth playing. The game's definitely going to offer a lot to anybody that enjoys swords and guns. I mean, come on, who doesn't enjoy swords and guns? But samurai era stuff, I think a Assassin's Creed style community would enjoy this, especially since it's coming out before Assassin's Creed Red, or whatever that Assassin's Creed is being called nowadays. But yeah, this is gonna be a great game. I can feel it. I know it. It's gotten plenty of my attention since it was announced. Again, especially because there's just so much resemblance from 22 years old Way of the Samurai when it comes to this game. And I'm hoping to really enjoy this game, continue to make content for this game, and whatever they have in store to come when it comes to this IP. And I hope y'all around to watch. So, boom, there you go. There you have it. Rise of the Ronin, Way of the Samurai, which I'll slap on here one more time. I'll put it a little deeper this time. Hope you guys that have played Way of the Samurai before enjoyed this little back and forth. And anybody that hasn't, I hope I was able to educate you a little bit on the game and what I think Rise of Rona reminds me of and why it reminds me of this game. And I hope that everybody goes out and buys Rise of the Ronin. No, I'm not getting paid for any of this. This is me doing it of my own free will, because again, that's how much I believe in Rise of the Ronin, and again, how much I want to fulfill my nostalgia by playing it, since I used to play Way of the Samurai way back in the day. But yeah, y'all all have a good one. Thanks for coming through. Thanks for anybody that watches the VOD later. And yeah, let's get hyped up for some Rise of the Ronin, baby. Let's go. Actually, let's end this off with the fight video. Y'all enjoy. Y'all have a great day. I'm gonna leave you off with this. Till next time, peace out.
My dear sister, 2 months have passed since my last letter. Time does move slow when you have little to do. As I sit and wait in this dreary cell, I watch the courtyard outside with great intrigue. Yesterday, I witnessed something quite special. A crow landed close to my window, attempting to grasp a piece of bread lodged just beyond its reach. This determined creature tried time and time again, but its beak was too short and too thick. Eventually, the crow left in what I concluded was defeat. But to my amazement, the crow flew back with a stick in its feet. This cunning bird used the stick to dislodge the food and fly away with its prize. A small victory, but it reminded me of our struggle, and that we must adapt if our plan is to succeed. Some may shun the outsiders' weapons and tactics, but we cannot be afraid to embrace them in pursuit of our goals. Spread the word to our allies. We must be like the crow.
Action remains at the core of Rise of the Ronin. It is the culmination of our previous work on action games as Team Ninja. A large part of the combat in Ronin is based around a wide variety of actions you can choose to combat your enemies. It was essential for us that the player gets positive feelings from the action, to feel the battles, and for the enemy actions to look cool. However,
Kill!